Okay, so it appears that I missed a trick recently. I had planned to film a video of removing the original BMW rack and the pannier carriers for the new R1300GS, which I now have. Unfortunately, I got so keen actually fitting the rack, as you can see there, it's all nicely fitted, as well as the SW Motech engine bars, that I neglected to film it. So I thought I would do as best as I could to try to explain the procedure. Steve Abel at A Bike Thing, I think, has actually put out a video where I think he removes these. Not so sure about the rear rack, as I think he's got the smaller non-powered rack on his Rally. Anyway, so if you have a 1300 GS, you will know that these are as standard. That's the one for the other side. Are obviously bolted, sort of here as standard. Removing them because of the electrical hookups isn't actually as bad as you might think. It's 3 T40 bolts, one there, and there, which also I believe partly holds in the rack. Looking at it, not so sure. Anyway, so in order to get them out, obviously the wiring needs to come out. So first of all, you need to remove this protector cap. I'm not sure what BMW call that, and that then allows you to take these two T25 bolts out, and then this effectively unclips from here, because it actually goes over there, which is why you have to take that off first. Once that's off, there is at least one cable tie here where the wiring comes into this. And what you need to do is you need to, if I can get this to focus properly, you need to pry that up ever so slightly, and then the wiring harness, which looks more or less like this one here, just literally slides straight out. Once that's done and you've removed the 3 T40 bolts, the whole thing just literally lifts out. Same process for the other side. Obviously that leaves you with two dangling wiring harnesses, which sort of, I don't know if the light will show it, which basically come out about here from the plastic under tray. So that takes care of those. The rear rack is held on by another 2 T40 bolts, one of which I believe, I'm just trying to get this right, I believe it's either that one or that one, but it's in the instructions anyway. Actually, no it isn't, because SW Motech don't give you the instructions. Anyway, I think it's that one. This sort of blacks around here is actually what comes from SW Motech, but I'll get to that in a moment. To remove the rear rack next, like I say, there are 2 T40 bolts here and on the other side. But what you need to do first, you'll have to excuse me because I have this flu cold that's going around. These two T25 torques, and then you can take this sort of plastic cover off, which then has the same wiring block as the pannier adapters. Just like I say, prise that up, not too hard, and then slide that out. You can then take the entire rack off. I think the wiring actually, there's a cable tie there, and it basically feeds down through here. That then takes care of the rack. But you've then got 3 wiring harnesses hanging down. So what I did at the beginning of this, and this is what Steve Abel did, he actually dropped this rear tail tidy down, I think he actually opened this up as well. There's a couple of T25 bolts sort of here where my fingers are, but I didn't need to do that. What I did about here, I'll see if I can get a shot of it. Yeah, in those recesses there are two T30 bolts. I just put a sort of cushion on here, and then once you take those two T30 bolts out, this whole bit drops down. Be careful, because obviously there's wiring for the radar unit and the rear lights in there, but there's quite a lot of space in here. I think there's two wiring harnesses in there, and that's it. So I put some fabric tape around the ends of the connectors and basically fed them into here. So the three harnesses, the one for the top box, two for the panniers, now actually go inside of here. There's plenty of room. I've ridden the bike since. I've had no warning lights, no errors, so everything's fine there. So that takes care of removing everything that is standard. Then we come to fitting the SW Motech stuff. So the first thing you need to do is you get these two, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but you get these two side pieces. You bolt these on with the supplied hardware, which sort of blanks this off. You don't do them up tight. It does say that in the instructions. I'll leave a link to that in the description. And then you put on, if I can get it in focus, this square sort of plate here, with four very small Allen head bolts. I think they're 2 or 3 mil Allen heads. That then locks all of this together. I believe if you have the SW Motech pannier racks, they bolt onto here. And then, let me stand up because my knees are old. Then it's just a simple case of, you have the two halves of the rack. So you get one side piece and the other side piece, and that bolts in here, and also up under here where the original, I think they're the bolts that the pannier rails actually went through. So you'll notice there is a silver spacer in there that actually comes with the SW Motech kit, and an Allen bolt through, and then they actually give you a sort of cap that you can put over the end of it to keep water out. Same for this end here, little rubber bung. They advise you to do that loosely, not to actually tighten it up, because then you need to put the plate in place. This is actually my plate from, well, I've had this since 2019 on my first R1300GS, so I've now got 2 spare. But yeah, so this literally bolts on 4 bolts, obviously with a nut on the bottom. You can mount it. You can mount it here, or you can move it slightly further back. So I've gone for it in the slightly forward position. Yeah, then they advise you to obviously tighten it up, and that's it really. Didn't have to take the seats off, and yeah, that was the entire installation.